All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Hawk Radio. I'm Emily. Welcome to my show. It's Friday again, 1 o'clock, so it's time to talk. Today is June 22nd. It's the day we've been waiting for here on Hawk Radio. Panic at the Disco released their newest album, Pray for the Wicked, and I've been waiting for that for a couple months now. And last night at midnight, they finally dropped it, and I have not listened to it yet, but I have some songs here that I'm going to play later on in the show, and we're going to listen to it together, I guess. Just a couple, not the whole thing. It's going to take a while. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I hope you guys have had a great week, and are looking forward to a great weekend. It's going to be good. So today I had this whole thing planned out early last week, this whole show, episode 5. Oh yeah. And I had it all planned out, and I was going to talk about some more Marvel stuff because I'm kind of on a Marvel kick now, you know. Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out actually not even next month, a couple weeks, July 5th in my hometown, but probably the 6th everywhere else. But I was going to talk about some more Marvel movies leading up to that some more, but then I saw on Facebook that it was the 30th anniversary of arguably the best movie of our time, or maybe not our time, but the best movie of our time, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's the 30th anniversary of that yesterday, so I'm like, shoot, I gotta talk about that. I'm also going to be talking about the show Wahlburgers, which is based off of, the Wahlberg family, Mark and Donnie Wahlberg. They have a burger joint aptly named Wahlburgers, and they have a show based around it and franchising and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk about the new season because it just started back up. And speaking of franchising, I have been reading a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time, ever since I saw the movie that it is based off of, or reverse that. But Fight Club, I have been wanting to read the book Fight Club, and so I'm going to talk about it. I know that's the first rule, is to not talk about Fight Club, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's get started. I'm going to play, during this first music break, I'm going to play some more Home Free for you guys. We're a fan of Home Free here. So this is Elvira by Home Free featuring the Oak Ridge Boys. Stay tuned. You know, for a family that doesn't listen to country music that often, we sure do listen to a lot of country music. We love Home Free. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse. I'm Emily, and I'm going to start off this first segment talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988. So yeah, it's been 30 years since it came out, and oh man, it's probably, as somebody who wants to go into animation and stuff like that, it's probably one of the greatest movies ever of its time. I don't want to say the greatest movie ever, but it's pretty cool, and oh my god, I can go off. But yeah, so yesterday was the 30th anniversary, and I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to talk about, more Marvel movies, because that's what I'm into right now. And I saw it on Facebook, and I'm like, no, I gotta dedicate a segment to this gem of a movie. So if you've never seen it, you are sheltered, and you should probably pull it up. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore, but check. Or bootleg it, I don't know. Find some way to watch it, either legally or illegally, and watch it and enjoy it, because you will. But so the synopsis here on IMDb is: a tune-hating detective is a cartoon rabbit's only hope to prove his innocence when he is accused of murder. And right off the bat, it's like, it's not like one of those like you know how when remakes come out and it's like, oh, I've seen this trope over and over all the time, like Boy Meets Girl and stuff like that. This isn't one of those. Like, it's based off a book, obviously, but I've never, who comes up with that stuff, Like, I've never seen that before, a cartoonist framed of murder. Like, that's the least you would expect, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's starring Bob Hoskins, who you might know later on as, I think he was Smee in the movie Hook, with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. I forgot his name. Sorry, Robin Williams. Bob Hoskins was Smee, and Christopher Lloyd, obviously, is Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and Charles Fleischer plays Roger Rabbit, and he's got a great voice. He does TED Talks and stuff, and that's all you might know him from if you are a avid listener of TED Talks. So yeah, I have some trivia here, just a little bit. I don't want to go all out, but stuff you might not know about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's one of those. I forgot to mention why it's so amazing. So it was one of the first movies, not the first, but one of the first movies that incorporated animation and live action. So I mean, it's not a whole animated movie. It starts out animated, and then the first scene is, and then it's like there's live people. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, and it's all hand drawn animation too. This was before 3D animation, so it makes it even more incredible, you know. So this first trivia is this movie marked the only time cartoon characters from Walt Disney and Warner Brothers appeared together on screen, and that's a big deal because that's like apples and oranges, you know. They're rivals kind of, and so yeah, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny are together in one scene, and that hasn't been done. It's unheard of. Blasphemy, you know. The 3 ingredients of the dip that kills cartoons is turpentine, acetone, and benzene, and they're all paint thinners which are used to remove animation. You get it. I saw one on here. Tim Curry auditioned for the role of Judge Doom. We love Tim Curry. He is Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I am in every Friday. That's today. So we love Tim Curry. He auditioned for the role of Judge Doom, which is Christopher Lloyd's character, and he gave a performance that the director Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, and Jeffrey Katzenberg and Michael Eisner all found quite terrifying. Can you imagine, those of you who've seen this movie, can you imagine Tim Curry as that guy? That'd be amazing. Like, it wouldn't have worked probably in the 80s. It would have been too creepy, but I feel like if he wasn't the way he is right now, it would be perfect. Like, that's what we need. That's the reboot we need. If we're gonna do reboots, that's the one we need. You know what I mean? Tim Curry. Get us Tim Curry. What else? Like I said, all of them were hand drawn. There were over 40 drafts of the script, including drafts that had either Jessica Rabbit or Baby Herman as the villain. All these are characters in the movie. I saw one where it was like, it's at the very top here. Since the movie was being made by Disney, Touchstone Pictures, Warner Brothers would only allow the use of their biggest toon stars, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, if they got an equal amount of screen time as Disney's biggest stars, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Because of this, both sets of characters are always together in frame when on the screen. So that makes sense, I guess. There's a ton of people say that Infinity War that came out, sorry, I'm talking about Marvel movies again. People say that Infinity War was, you know, the most ambitious crossover of our time, but really this was the most ambitious crossover, because they list here like all of the cartoon characters that make an appearance in it, and it's just too long for me to go through all of it's like a thick paragraph full of like Disney movies and Disney movie characters and Warner Brothers movie characters, and even ones that don't fall into either of those categories. They're all here. Like Betty Boop is in a scene. We missed June Foray. June Foray was a voice actor. She did all the, you know, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and she did all this stuff. And oh man, this was the first time she did voiceover for a live action movie. That's another piece of trivia for you. So she passed away not long before her 100th birthday, and we miss her. June Foray. Ooh. I just read one, sorry. I feel like I can't tell all of these. It might spoil the movie for you guys, or I don't know who hasn't seen it or not. The weasels all have names. Let me find one more good one before I send it over to another music break. Oh, here's one. I kind of knew it already, but a lot of people were considered for Eddie Valiant, who is Bob Hoskins' character. Bill Murray is one. Eddie Murphy is one. He regrets turning it down. Yeah, all these people. I don't know if you guys would know who they are, but I guess a lot of these people were gonna be Eddie Valiant. But I mean, I like the way it is. I like Bob Hoskins. I mean, I talk about this like every episode, but actors playing off characters that aren't really there, like for motion capture and the Hulk and stuff, all those actors have to play off these characters that aren't there. They have to act with nothing, and that's like, I can barely act with people there. I can't imagine acting when there's nobody there, you know what I mean? I guess, I have another trivia. It's not on IMDb, probably. I don't want to look for it, but right off the top of my head, Charles Fleischer used to dress up like Roger Rabbit on set, like in a giant Roger Rabbit suit, and I'm sure you can find pictures on the internet. But yeah, Bob Hoskins thought he was nuts that he did that, just to help the actors a little bit. You know, he wasn't on camera at all. He was just doing voice because he's Roger, but he dressed up anyway. We love Charles Fleischer. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, actors that have to play off nothing. That's props to you actors out there who have done that. But yeah, that movie was like I don't know what to call it. Like, that was the one that led up to like all these movies we have now, kind of. Like, it existed before, like with the Alice movies and stuff like that from Disney, like way back in the day. And I think Howard the Duck came out before this one. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But if not, then Roger Rabbit was the one that led up to all these movies that incorporate, you know, cartoons and live people. Like Space Jam is one that comes to mind. The one Brendan Fraser one with the Looney Tunes. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins came out before this one, way before. But it took inspiration, you know, they were in it. And I don't know, I love movies like that. I like both. I would love to do something like that, go to school and learn how to make movies like that. It's a lot of teamwork on the creator's part, but yeah, when it comes together, it's just incredible that we can do that. And it's probably even easier now with technology. I mean, they do that all the time, incorporate CGI characters and actual people. They do it all the time, and it's just incredible. But yeah, shout out to Robert Zemeckis. All right, during this next music break, I'm going to play a song from Roger Rabbit. Sorry if it gets on your nerves, but I needed to include it. So that's a cute song. I hope it brought a smile to your face. You're listening to Emily's Playhouse on Hawk Radio. This is King of the Clouds by Panic at the Disco, which was just released on Monday, so enjoy. I'm obsessed with that song. That's really good. Shout out to Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. All right, so this next segment, I'm not going to make it too terribly long because I promised you guys a song, and I think it fits perfectly considering last week I talked about Backstreet Boys, and this week I'm talking about New Kids on the Block. I promised you guys a song. It's kind of long, so I'm going to keep this segment pretty short. Wahlburgers, there's a show about it. It's a restaurant. Let's see what we have here. Wahlburgers is a casual dining burger restaurant and bar. The chain has 26 restaurants. Its original is in Hingham, Massachusetts, a town just outside the Boston area, and is owned by Chef Paul Wahlberg in partnership with two of his brothers, actors Donnie and Mark. The chain is the subject of the television series Wahlburgers. So how many seasons are there? That's what I was trying to figure out. It kind of integrates the show with the... Oh, here we go. It integrates the show with the... restaurant, so it's kind of confusing here. There's 9 seasons, 77 episodes. It's been going on since 2014. Main cast: Mark, Donnie, Paul is their third youngest. Yeah, so it goes Paul, Donnie, and then Mark as far as the brothers go. Paul is the chef, he's their brother. Alma is their mom. And there's a bunch of family members here. It's all about them, and it's a really cool show. I think it shows what goes on and like behind the scenes. It's mostly about like the restaurant and like how they get it going and how they're trying to grow. Like the first one was the first couple seasons were them trying to like, you know, build more restaurants. Like they had the one in Hingham, and so they kind of stayed over there and focused on what was going on in that Hingham restaurant. And then they started like, hey, we got to grow our franchise and stuff like that. So they started making more. And there's actually one in Orlando. I went for my 17th and my 19th birthday. And I definitely recommend it. They have great tater tots. Tell them I sent you. Nothing will happen. They don't know me. But in 2011, an equity group that includes Mark, Donnie, and Paul licensed the name Wahlburgers from Tom Wall's for use in their own restaurant. The family also owns and operates another restaurant named 𝘭𝘮𝑛𝑦, which opened prior to 𝘍𝑪burgers. Its name is derived from the name of the brother's mother, Alma, and the fact that she had 9 children, nove being Italian for 9. The first 𝘍𝑪burgers opened in Hingham, Massachusetts, near 𝘭𝘮𝑛𝑦, the pre-existing restaurant, yada yada yada. The second was in Toronto in 2014. Orlando had its red carpet grand opening. I think it was the third one in 2016. And yeah, they have all these: St. Charles, Illinois, Minnesota, North Carolina. They're all over the place, so look around. There was talk of having one here in Tampa too, so definitely check it out. But the show, it's on A&E on Wednesdays, 𝘍𝑪burg Wednesday, so it's easy to remember. And I definitely recommend it. You know, it's a really good show. Sorry. But yeah, 9 seasons. That surprised me. 9 seasons. And yeah, if you're interested in, if you're a fan of Mark Wahlberg, and it's mostly around Donnie Wahlberg, just because he's like the funniest. Mark is always doing some show, and he's always he stays you know, close. But he's always like filming a movie or something, so he's not on as much as Donnie or the others. The show is about Paul, but he's like, you know, he's kind of like always stressed and stuff. So Donnie's kind of the glue that holds them both together. So I'm a Donnie fan, and I like his dog Lumpy, and I like his relationship with his mother. You know, it's a really cool show, and I definitely recommend it. Oh yeah, retail products. So this new season, they're only on like the second episode. It premiered like 2 weeks ago maybe. So they're trying to release like their own like Angus beef and stuff into like stores, like retail and stuff like that. So not only do they have the restaurants and food trucks and stuff like that, but they also have their own like line of products, so you can make your own too, and that's really cool. So that's kind of what this season is about. So you guys have a lot of episodes of 𝘍𝑪burgers to catch up on. Wednesday nights on A&E, right after Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, which is another show that I recommend. But yeah, I promised you guys that I would play NKOTBSB, which was when Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block kind of came together and did a mashup of their songs, and I think they released a whole album and stuff. But it's really good. I'm gonna play the mashup here. It's like 6 minutes long, but you know what? I got time. I got all the time in the world. So I'm gonna play it for you guys, since I promised last week, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Here we go.
People are always asking me if I know Tyler Durden.
3 minutes.
Oh, I love that movie so much. So I'm finally getting to reading the book now. I've been waiting, like, when did I watch it for the first time? It's been a hot minute, but yeah, I'm reading the book. I'm not that far into it. I'm probably only 6 chapters into it, and it's a really well written book. It's kind of written weird though. It's like Chuck, the guy who wrote it, he writes it like thought, kind of like, you know, there's a word to describe it. I remember I just passed my English class and I can't remember it. It's slipping my mind, but you know, like when one thought goes from the other, that's kind of what it's written like. So I mean, the sentences don't really like flow well together. It's kind of like just random thoughts from the narrator's perspective, but it's written really well, and I like it a lot. And the movie's great too. Meatloaf is in it. We love Meatloaf. Brad Pitt plays Tyler Durden, who is, I'm not going to tell you, he's the main character. But the antagonist, I guess, and Edward Norton, who we would later know from The Hulk, is the narrator. And Helena Bonham Carter is in it. She plays kind of the love interest. I love her character. I relate. But so Fight Club is a 1999 film based on the 1996 novel of the same name by Chuck. I can't pronounce his last name. Starts with a P. Palahnuik or something like that. Stars these characters that I just named off 2 seconds ago. Norton plays the unnamed protagonist, referred to as the narrator, who is discontent with his white-collar job. He forms a quote-unquote fight club with soap maker Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. They are joined by men who also want to fight recreationally. The narrator becomes embroiled in a relationship with Durden and a dissolute woman, Marla Singer, played by Bonham Carter. Yeah, you wouldn't think that this book would be a great plot for a movie, like the way it's written and stuff. It's really hard to, I feel like, make it into a movie the way it is, but they successfully did it, and it is I know I said Roger Rabbit was the greatest movie of all time, but Fight Club is by far the greatest movie of all time, because it's like when you watch it for the first time you think it's about fighting and stuff like that, but it's really not. It's deeper than that. It's about franchises and like corporations, and the more you watch it, the more you it changes. It's so good. Oh my god, if you've never seen Fight Club, I recommend it. The more you watch it, the more like the deeper it gets, the more you notice, is what I'm trying to say. You notice a lot of things from like the second and third watch than you do on the first one. Like it'll go over your head, but oh man, it's so good. There's some interpretations on here. I don't want to go into it, it's really long. But what should I talk about here? Oh, so they said the movie's theme was the conflict between a generation of young people and the value system of advertising. That's exactly right. So the narrator and Tyler Durden do this Fight Club, and then it grows to become Project Mayhem, which is basically him making these bombs out of the soap, which is what the soap is all about. He's a soap maker, and he makes just handmade bombs out of this stuff, and to take down these corporations, and because they're like running the world. It's relatable, topical, I get it. So they said the theme was a conflict between a generation of young people and the value system of advertising. So I don't think this is correct, but when I was in my old TV productions class in high school, we watched this movie, and like parts of it, it's kind of inappropriate for high schoolers, but we watched this movie, and I guess it has like there's like a Starbucks in like every scene or something like that. Like it has the most product placement of any movie, and I don't know if that's correct, but I believe it. There's a lot. It's all about corporations and advertising and stuff like that. So if they did that, that makes a lot of sense, and I love that. I mean, I don't love the whole you got to pay them money to put your thing in the movie, but I like the whole concept of product placement in the movie. And they destroy a lot of cars, and I guess there was one, I don't remember which, car company that didn't want their cars destroyed. So fun fact. The director copied the homoerotic overtones from Chuck's novel to make audiences uncomfortable and keep them from anticipating the twist ending. So this movie has a twist ending. I knew what it was before I watched it, so I mean, I wasn't that surprised. Everybody knows the ending of Fight Club. But if you don't, watch it right now. You should. It's a really good movie. It'll have you like on the edge of your seat. So over time, critical and public reception towards the film has become largely positive, and the film found critical and commercial success with its DVD release, which established Fight Club as a cult film. It is now regarded by many as one of the greatest films of the 1990s, which is what I'm saying. Which it came out like it came out like September of 99, or October, I guess, of 99, and so it's the greatest film of the 1990s. That I mean, you have a whole decade there. But it is a really good movie. It's not a Tim Burton movie, but Helena Bonham Carter's in it anyway, and I just love her character. I think it's one of her greatest characters, and that's on top of her character in Harry Potter too. You know what I mean? As far as Edward Norton goes, I feel like there's always something wrong with him in his movies, like between this one and the Hulk, which are, I mean, those are the only two I've seen of his, but between those two, in the Hulk, he was obviously the Hulk, so there was that. But in this one, he has insomnia, which makes him like crazy. And that's the whole thing too. Like you have to remember when you're watching this movie that he has insomnia, so you don't know what's real and what's like just his eyes playing tricks on him. And that adds a whole nother layer to this movie. And it's great. There's no movie like Fight Club, honestly. I could watch it all day. But yeah, I just played on the music break. That was the theme song to Fight Club, and it's really weird. I don't know how to describe it. So it's the break beat, I guess is what it's called. The musical score was scored by the Dust Brothers. I don't know, I'm not familiar with them other than this movie. The duo created a postmodern score that included drum loops, electronic scratches, and computerized samples. the director wanted to break new ground, and non-traditional score helped achieve that. The film's climax and end credits feature the song Where Is My Mind by the Pixies, which is unimportant to what I'm talking about right now, but I said it anyway because it's my show and I do what I want. But yeah, the music is it's bizarre, but I've never heard music like that on the radio or in movies before, but I like it. You know, it fits I don't know, it's kind of spooky sounding. But yeah, visual effects. There's a scene where they talk about cigarette burns, which is when back in the old times of the movies, they would have to switch projectors, and the cigarette burn at the top corner was how they knew when to like switch, so there wasn't like a huge gap. And the movie plays around with that. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but yeah, you'll know what I mean when you watch the movie. Cinematography. The opening scene in Fight Club that represents a brain's neural network in which the thought processes are initiated by the narrator's fear impulse. The network was mapped out using an L system and drawn out by a medical illustrator. So the very first scene of this during the opening credits is you see like his neurons, the narrator's neurons fire, that he's scared. And we zoom out all the way from like that, the synapses and stuff like that, all the way out from his brain, out of a sweat pore and down the bullet, like the barrel of a gun. And you see a gun in his mouth and he's sweating. And it's just really cool, all those little details and stuff like that. And I love that. That was really well done, and I'm sure it took forever. I love movie making, if you can't already tell. But, oh yeah, I highly recommend Fight Club if you haven't seen it already. It's one of those movies to watch before you die. If you're bored or something, you need a good movie to watch Fight Club. I was going to say something else, I forgot. But yeah, read the book too. Reading is important, you guys. Read the book. I don't care if you read it before or after. I read it after I saw the movie. But, you know, it'd be like that. Music break. It is 1:45 now. So, it's time for a music break. I'm going to play Material Girl by Madonna because I heard it in a YouTube video the other day. And I'm like, hey, I want to play it. So, I'm going to play it now for you. Stay tuned. That's a classic. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse. I'm Emily, and we're gonna wrap up here with a moment of reflection, I think. So today, episode 5, entitled "Don't Talk About Fight Club." I talked about Fight Club. Can you blame me? It's a really good movie, and I haven't finished the book yet, but I'm sure it's a really good book too. And I honestly don't think I know a movie better than Fight Club. Like, I know that's like, oh, Emily, don't say that. But I'm serious. Like, it's really well done. And I'm sure I could find some flaws if I watched it enough. But for right now, it is probably the bomb. I like the subject matter. It's different, you know, and I'm going to be mad if they reboot it one day. I hope I didn't give anybody ideas. Don't reboot Fight Club. It's good the way it is. I talked about another movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Happy 30th anniversary to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Thank you for being the leading cause of movies with, that's a weird way to put it, movies with cartoons in it. Thank you for employing actors who can't, I'm trying to think of a way to word it. Thank you for being the leading cause of actors' employment when they don't, like, when they can't even act next to people, you know. whatever, I give up. Thank you for being the leading cause of actors who don't get to appear on screen but do voiceover but dress up in rabbits anyway. I don't know what other movie has done that, so good for you. Happy 30th. And then I also talked about Wahlburgers, who has really great tater tots. I got a coffee from there once, and it was just a chocolate milkshake, so I don't... I'm not even mad. I've been there twice, and Mark Wahlberg wasn't there, even though I dressed nice for both occasions, and I brought both of my crushes there, I guess. Both times I went, so that's going for me. And then Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about the restaurant. The new season of Wahlburgers. Watch it. You get to see Paul Wahlberg lose his mind, and Donnie Wahlberg and his dog are kind of cute, and Mark Wahlberg will be there too, who just golfs and stuff. He's Mark Wahlberg, it's whatever. And also Alma. Shout out to Alma for making Mark Wahlberg. So yeah, it was a solid show. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Next week I want to talk about, although it might change at the last minute like it did this week, I really want to talk about, can people turn into the Hulk in real life? Probably not. I've been doing research. And what else do I want to talk about? I don't know yet. That's all I got so far. I know in the future I want to talk about, because I don't want to have 2 movie segments in one. I know I did today, but it doesn't count because it's a book. But I want to talk about Ant-Man, because that's coming out. I want to talk about my predictions for Avengers 4. So stay tuned to my show every week on hawkradio.primostream.com at 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. every Friday. You know, we're going to have some fun. I got a lot planned right here. Oh, yeah, follow me on social media at 𝑌𝘠𝑑udez. It's still 𝑌𝘠𝑑udez, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, God. It's still 𝑌𝘠𝑑udez on Facebook because they won't let me change it. Oh well, just pretend, use your imagination. Y'all are observant and bright if you're listening to my show. Follow me at, oh shoot, I forgot, Emily's Playhouse on Instagram and M's Playhouse on Twitter. I don't know, they're all different. Just find me. I'm not even gonna post my own. Anyway, we'll see you here, same time, same place. I'm going to play Hey Look Ma, I Made It, which is another song that came out at midnight this morning by Panic at the Disco. Haven't heard it yet, so I'm gonna leave so I don't have to hear it. Bye guys, I'll see you next week.